Hello, my name is Neftali Mateos.
And I'm Regina Mateos. We've been married for almost 17 years now. We have 4 kids, 3 teenagers, which is hard to believe.
We started the men's home approximately 4 years ago, and we originally started by when we were knocking on people's doors and asking them what the needs of the community were. And a lot of the problems were truly like the homelessness in our community.
Yeah.
On top of that, just going to church, trying to get people to come to church and want to change their lives, which are people that were on the streets or on the Greenway. We didn't have a place to take them. We didn't know or places to point them out to resources or anything. So we took it upon ourselves as a church to want to fill in that gap.
Yeah, we realized it was kind of like asking somebody, hey, are you hungry? That's great. And then like walking away and not really offering them like any food. Here you go. Like we can help you. And so we wanted to find the other end of, hey, like there's hope for your life. You're not meant to be on the streets. You're not meant to be addicted to drugs. And then we can be like, there's a place for you if you should ever want to change your life.
For us, we originally, when we started looking, we were looking for like a bigger building or something for us to rent out or possibly purchase to start a men's home. And every place that we went to go look for every door was being shut. It was like, man, like, what do? We didn't have a place to. So I think it was I honestly don't exactly remember how it happened, but me and my wife just kind of looked at each other and was like, oh, why don't we just turn our house into a home? And we both agreed. I think at the time we kind of even involved our kids in the process and asked them like what they thought about it. And they were all for it. And I think like within the next, a month or so, we were out of the house and moving people in.
Which is funny because we had just like bought like a brand new table and bought like these new couches. We decided to leave everything. We basically just left with our clothes, and I wanted it to feel like a home. I didn't want it to be empty. I wanted it somewhere that they can feel, okay, this is my home. So yeah, I think it was 3 weeks. We packed up all of our stuff and moved in with my parents.
I think the biggest struggle was obviously just kind of getting up and running. We partnered up with a church in San Bernardino that was already running a home, and they sent us a couple guys that came. They were originally supposed to be here for 2 months, and they loved it. They loved the area, and they just decided to call this place home. So we kind of partnered with them, and they kind of ran the program.
Yeah, one of the things we focus on too when they first get there is we'll ask them like, where do you want to see your life? Like, what are some things that brought you here? And a lot of times it's their marriage, or they haven't seen their kids in a really long time, or it's simple things like, I'd like to graduate high school. I'd like to get a license. And we get to partner with them on those things. So we have them like set vision for their life when they first get there. And so as they're going through the process, it's like, hey, maybe they could be struggling because they have to deal with all these things that maybe they masked with alcohol or drugs or whatever. And like, remember what you're fighting for. Remember what's on the other side of this struggle. And that's really cool too, because they set the vision and then they reach for it. We're not saying here are some resources that the government has for you that you can like leech onto you. It's like, no. Here is a way for you to walk out your life and create a life where you can support yourself. You don't have to grab at every handout, that you can actually be the one on the other side of it, reaching out and saying, how can I help you?
It's funny because we've been trying to reach this guy named Dennis for the longest time, and I don't remember. I mean, he's came into the church quite a bit of times, and kind of back and forth. And one day I was jogging, and I felt like God was telling me like, "Hey, turn around!" And like He showed me a vision of this guy's face, and I continued running on my jog. And for some reason, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna make go and contact him and talk to him. I didn't know who it was. I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna go and like meet up with him. And then I tapped on a little cart that he had. It was like a homeless cart. He had a bed and he had a bunch of stuff all over it. And sure enough, it was the same person whose face was in my mind. And I remember just talking to him. I'm like, hey, I was like, you should come into the home. And he's like, yeah, I got to get rid of this ginormous cart that he was carrying around. And I think the very next day he came into the home, and he's been there for over a year now.
He's got his kids, his license, all of his fines. He has a super good job. Like, he's not on the streets anymore. Yeah. It's like and he's like the most helpful, loving person. And I just love that.
Yeah, I see him every day, and I give him a hug, and I always ask him, where'd you come from? Yeah, he's definitely such a blessing to be around.
The women's home is doing well. Women are different than men. But it's the same thing though. We all go, it's just the flip side of it. Not everybody has a perfect home. And that sometimes that means you're not the mom you thought you could be. You're not the daughter you thought you could be. You're not the wife you thought you could be. It's not just like drugs. It's not just homelessness. People that like they struggle with their identity. Even that, watching the undoing it of everything that they thought that they were because that's what they were told, and being able to feel like I'm beautiful the way that I am. Yeah. I'm worthy the way that I am. And just to see all of those lies get stripped off of these women is really, and then you see joy and you see, again, purpose. It's just, again, you know, the men and the women are totally different, but the result is the same, is like walking in just the confidence again and knowing I have that purpose. So it's been awesome to see. Again, it's, you know, for the ones that want to change.
Yeah.
And so we have several in there now that are living it out and walking out their truth finally. And you see just light in their eyes, you know. It's just the coolest thing.
What we're really looking for is people who partner up with us, you know what I mean, for the long haul. I think we're not only wanting to stop at one men's home or one woman's home. We want to do a youth home. We want to do a women's home with that they can bring their kids. We want to be able to help out as many people as possible, but able to do that, you know what I mean? Like, we can't do it just between us two or just within our church congregation. We do ask that, you know, the people in the community would partner up with us because it's their brothers, it's their sisters. I mean, we all have family members that have a family member or a brother or a sister that's struggling with drugs or whatever. And those are the people that we're going after. And they might not want to talk to you. They might not want to talk to your loved ones, but they'll talk to us.
No matter who you are, you want to make a difference in someone's life. And you want to participate in any way that you can. And maybe you don't have the time and you don't have your environment isn't set up for you to do that right now. And if there's something you can invest in for that purpose, then you're a part of it. You can experience the same joy that we do when we're talking about these people, knowing that I played a part in that because I gave a gift or I partner with them, and through that gift, you're helping us change people's lives, and you change their families' lives. Like, it doesn't just stop with them. It continues with their kids and their brother and their cousin. It's just this ongoing thing where it's like a spark, and we get to play a part in that.